Sound like the Cave of Wonders.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Popcorn Planet. I am Andy Signore, and we are now live. I just spent 5 minutes talking to nobody, and I'm here with Jody. Thank you for noticing that we weren't talking to any live audience members.
Oh,
how's it going, Jody?
It's good, man. We did the first 3 minutes without even being live. Good thing it was only 3 minutes and not 30 minutes, man. I'm good to be here, man. Let's get the shit popping,
yeah,
bro.
Now we are here. Now we're ready to do this. All right, so guys, as I already pre-said this, the way this show is going to work moving forward is if you catch it live, you get to catch it all, and if you don't, it's either going to be cut up into members-only sections, or if they're good, really, really good fights, I'm going to disperse them out publicly as well. So you might see this episode was long when you watched it, and then it got trimmed down later. It's because of YouTube's algorithm. Jody and I are trying our best to work with what we got, but it's better to Twitch stream live and better to make clips here on YouTube. So that's what we're starting to do. I'll be doing a Twitch stream after this as well. But in case you are tuning in, you'll be able to watch 2 other clips of this show, usually at the end if they exist. You'll be able to click on the end to continue watching the show, or they'll be in the members only section. Any parts that didn't make it, if you aren't a member of Popcorn Planet, please consider joining. It helps support the channel, and you get a lot of exclusives in there and watch parties and streams like that. But first up, the main part of this video, the one that we're going to really focus on, the one that you clicked on, this has been a story that's been advancing over the weeks, and today took an interesting turn. So, Jody, you saw this too. I know you were reading up a little bit right before we went live, but obviously theaters are in a terrible spot right now. AMC, others, they're considering bankruptcy with everyone on lockdown. No one's going to movie theaters. They can't keep their money. And so now Trolls was the first sort of real movie from Universal that thought, you know what? Let's just release this, on VOD, streaming service. Let's see what happens. And according to reports, it paid off. And it paid off in a big way. Speaking of paying off, Q Reviews, thank you for setting the tone. Let's go, indeed. I appreciate that, Q Reviews, setting that in there. Up, very generous of you. And guys, if you do the Streamlabs, you'll see it on the show. But thank you. I'll take the super chats. Don't worry about it. Q Reviews, you rock. The movie did well. And I think where people don't understand is because they don't have to pay as high a percentage to the theaters, right? When they get to go straight to VOD, they get 80% of the profit.
I didn't even know that, though.
Yeah, they make 80% of the profit. So that's the big thing I think most people are understanding. So while you hear like, oh, it made $100 million, you might go, well, that's not as good. But you got to remember, they're making way more profit because they're sharing it smaller with the streaming services than they are with theaters. So that's why AMC and all these people are upset, because they're like, whoa, what are you doing? This is our bread and butter. This is how we stay in business. When you put these movies to VOD, what are we going to do? And so now today, it came to a head where AMC is now saying they are refusing to play Universal films in wake of Trolls World Tour. Now, they sort of had teased this before, but today, just now, like before we went to air, they made it official. The threat came in wake of comments made by Universal CEO Jeff Shell regarding what the on-demand success of the family film meant for the future, and they delivered this blistering message to Universal, saying the world's largest theater chain will no longer play any of the studio's films in the wake of the comments made by Universal regarding the on-demand success of Trolls. Earlier today, they revealed that Trolls racked up an estimated $100 million in premium VOD rentals in its first 3 weeks in New York, more than enough to put the film on the road to profitability, according to the conglomerate. That's not far behind the $116 million grossed by the original Trolls in its first 3 weeks. And you got to remember, they've already made more profit because it's 80%, I think, versus 40 or 50% that they take.
The Forbes article said 50-50.
Yeah. Okay. So in the they take, so it's a 30 extra percent of profit that they get from this. You got to keep in mind, which is a lot when you're talking $100 million. And so it went out to make 153 in the U.S. and Canada, and then 347 globally, not adjusted for inflation. Universal sent the animated family pick straight to POD amid the ongoing pandemic. The results for Trolls World Tour exceeded our expectations and demonstrated the viability of VOD. A strongly worded letter to Universal. AMC chair said, "It's disappointing to us, but Jeff's comments as to Universal's unilateral actions and intentions have left us with no choice. Therefore, effective immediately, AMC will no longer play any Universal movies in any of our theaters in the United States, Europe, or the Middle East. This policy affects any and all Universal movies per se, goes into effect today, and as our theaters reopen, it is not some hollow or ill-considered considered threat. He continued, incidentally, this policy is not aimed solely at Universal out of pique or to be punitive in any way. It also extends to any movie maker who unilaterally abandons current windowing practices, absent good faith negotiations between us, so that they as a distributor and we as an exhibitor both benefit and neither are hurt from such changes. Currently, with the press comments today, Universal is the only studio contemplating a wholesale change to the status quo. Hence, this immediate communication in response. Universal has not responded for comment. But so this was they mentioned Universal's unilateral pronouncements on the issue are unpalatable to us, and has always been the case. AMC is willing to sit down with Universal to discuss different window strategies and different economic models between your company and ours. However, in the absence of such discussions and an acceptable conclusion, therefore, our decades of incredibly successful business together sadly have come to an end. So look, this is legit. And you got to and this is coming from the comments from Universal, who said, look, this changes things. We're gonna have to reevaluate. We may decide to release things day and date, both on VOD and in theaters. And AMC is like, what? No, that's not happening. So, Jody, this is where it all comes down to. There's a lot more we can go through. I mean, a lot of theater owners are now very upset with Universal. And look, I understand why. I understand why this is going to hurt them. It's going to mean less movies in the theaters. But here's where I'm stuck. Because originally I always said, look, you can't kill the movies. The movies are going to always be around. People are going to want to go to theaters. People like Christopher Nolan, they're not going to not have their movies in theaters. So I don't think you can kill all theaters. But AMC killing Universal because they played Trolls 2, which sucked. Like, this is not a good look, and this is not going to help the theater industry recover after what just happened. And I worry this could actually really cause more drama than they think. Look, they're making a power move, right, Jody? They're making a power move here because they have to. If they don't put it all on the line and say, you know what, you better deal with us or you're not with us, they got to play ball that heavy because there are significant losses to them, right? But I don't think I don't think they have any power anymore. I think this just proved that they need the studios more than the studios need the theaters. And I think the theater chains aren't paying attention. It's like, Netflix, when they had DVDs, right? They phased it out. They did a whole thing when they called it Flickster and got a bunch of damage control, but they knew what to do and they went ahead and they made streaming and they have DVDs. But it's like, you got to pay attention. It's like, AT&T getting into internet versus cell phone provider. It's like the cable companies all realizing, crap, if we don't get into broadband, we're, an internet, Ethernet, we're screwed. You got to adapt. And this is not how you adapt. If Universal wants to put their movies in theaters and VOD, why can't they? Why they are delivering the content. The content is what people are paying for. They're not pay. We don't go to pay for the $20 popcorns, which I never want to pay because it's goddamn expensive. They're paying for the movies. They're going because they want to see movies, and the movies have gotten very expensive. And if AMC starts,
they're also paying for that theatrical experience, though. You can't really downplay that. The big space, the closed room, the seats, the dark, big, vibrant screen. And yes, some people do like to scarf down popcorn and drink Diet Coke while they watch a movie. Can't really downplay that. And that can't be replaced by any VOD service.
You and I know that. But at the same time, in the age of a pandemic, which even when they say we're back to normal, you think people are going to be rushing to theaters to be like, yeah, I want to sit. When they have an awesome theater system at home, when they're a nice couch, they already have reclining chairs. Adding those, they're trying to make the theaters more like home these days. And half the theaters aren't even that good with sound. I have some here in Florida. They suck. It's like, so I when I was in LA and I went to like the ArcLight and some of those, I'm with you. There's like or you go to certain theaters and it's an experience. But
if we're talking about AMC, we know AMC has good stuff. They have the THS, they have the Dolby, they have
a lot
IMAX,
of fake IMAX too, though. They're not real IMAX. They do this fake IMAX, which they charge you the same as IMAX, and it's a smaller screen than the actual IMAX. There's a lot of shoddy. Shoddy AMC work around, but yes, there are some good ones too. But my point is, around the country, it's not all the same. And so while I agree, I don't want to downplay. Of course, I don't want to kill the theater going experience. You're right, of course, but you can't have the theater going experience without Jurassic World.
I think most Americans, let's talk about this country. I think most Americans like the theatrical experience. You could take a date to the movies, take your mom to the movies during Christmas, during Thanksgiving, when everything is bored, you go to the movies. The movies never closes. It's open 24/7 through every holiday. The movie theater is the one place people could just be like, hey, you want to go to watch a movie? We're bored. Want to go watch a movie? And it's just something special about that, bro. I think that more people want to go to the movies. I only think that this is relevant and that they're all right. Good for Universal. You made a power play. I agree, Andy. This is a power play. But I understand why Universal made it because they don't want to bleed the money. But I understand also why AMC is pissed, because AMC and the theaters are like, yo, what's up? Why don't you push back Trolls release date till later in the year like the rest of these companies are doing, so we could all benefit here? They're like, whoa, you kind of premature. And AMC's also kind of nipping it in the bud. They could see this blossoming like the AIDS virus to more films. More production companies might follow the suit of what Universal's doing. So they're kind of panicking and they're making a stern movement like, no, then I ain't going to show none of your stuff. And I agree. I understand. And the ball just may be in Universal's court, in other studios who want to follow Universal's court. But that's only got a time limit of how long the pandemic lasts. When this pandemic is over and the movie theaters are safe, we will remember. And that's when AMC is going to win. When they hold hostage and they say, get your movie out my theater,
but that's
you can't watch it, they're going to lose.
I disagree. I don't think they can afford to do it. They need they need it more. If Universe, because here's where it really gets to a question. Because Scott Mendelson did a really good article on Forbes, like breaking down, which I sent you before, breaking down, like, is it really making money? And so while it's making money and it's doing better than people thought and there's a higher profit margin, people got to remember, like,
not making more than the theater.
But not only the theater, but like it goes to theater and then it goes to VOD and then it gets a distribution deal. There are 3 or 4 paths to revenue that now it didn't get. So it almost does feel like a little bit of a trickery that Universal's putting out there. Like, it's so profitable. You gotta, like, I believe they're going to make more money on it, and they probably would have. And I stand by what I said in my review. Trolls would not have been a hit. I don't believe Trolls World Tour would have been a huge hit. I think it would have been a bit of a fumble for them, and they would have seen it because the audiences wouldn't have gone as heavily if this was a crowded regular summer movie season. I think Trolls 2 would have had an okay opening and then tapered off, and people wouldn't have liked it as much as the first one. So I think they were better off sort of just taking their cut and their losses, making a little bit of profit. But they lost, there should be soundtrack sales, and there's so many things, and VOD, and then selling it to Netflix for a window or whatever the hell they decide to do. There's ways for a studio to make multiple revenue streams, and now they only got the VOD stream. Now, that said, as Scott says in his article here, which you guys can go check out, there's something, and you were alluding to it, there's something special right now, right? When we're stuck at home in a lockdown and then a new movie comes out, you're like, oh man, I got to see it. But once we're out of lockdown and once that we have everything back in the world, it's going to be a different game. And these VOD straight to streaming things aren't going to, I agree with you. It's not going to seem as good.
And the theaters will
I think
win.
There'll be a lot more competition at that point, and then we're all competing to watch Bloodshot. We're not talking about Bloodshot making a lot of money on VOD, are we? Because that also went to VOD. And so the point of matter is it's still got to be a big movie. So now here's my point. If Universal's blocked out of AMC and they're going to like be on, and some theater chain's going to be like, some theater chain's going to step up and be like, yeah, I'll show your movie, please. Jurassic Park, Fast and the Furious, Minions 2. Those are huge moneymakers. But not only are they huge moneymakers if they go to some other theater chain, they're going to be huge moneymakers if they drop on VOD. If those big movies drop on VOD, they can make a lot of money, and they could still release them globally. So I don't know. I think Universal.
No,
here's
I
where
think
I
every theater chain owner is going to unite together. AMC, Lowe's, Cinemark. They all believe and understand about protecting the business. Where AMC follows, I believe that the other companies will also band together and fight out against these production companies trying to go VOD, because it protects their interests too. If AMC puts up this boycott and some sneasel like Cinemark says, you know what? Yeah, I'll show your film. That's like the slave telling on the other slave in the field to the massa. Nah, we're team freaking movie theater here, bruh. You don't freaking sell out and cave in and open your theaters, all 2,000 of them. When we're on this protest movement, it's like crossing the picketed lines. Don't do it.
Here's where I'm challenging you, because I don't disagree with you, but I do think Universal's in the power play because they have the content. They need it. What are they going to open those weekends? How are they going to sell their popcorn? They need Jurassic Park. They need Fast and Furious. They need James Bond. These are huge movies that they're going to lose. But no, they need to they really both just need to renegotiate. Both of them need to renegotiate.
Pushback dates. Trolls did not.
But they're making it clear. Like, Warner Brothers is about to drop Scooby-Doo, so therefore Warner's will be next. So my point is, and Disney just did Artemis Fowl.
Kids movies though.
Disney did Artemis Fowl, so in theory they should count Disney as well, and that means now Disney's out. That means what? So realistically, Jody, the theaters,
Disney's going to do it.
But they already did. Artemis Fowl was a theatrical run that is now going on Disney Plus in June.
Artemis Fowl is a low budget.
You can't. Whoa.
Film.
You can't. No, Artemis Fowl is a way bigger budget than Trolls. You can't
No,
say
where,
if
how,
AMC
why
gives
was
Disney a
who? I didn't even
pass.
see a trailer for
If
that shit.
AMC gives Disney a pass, because Artemis Fowl was absolutely a theatrical run planned for May,
Trolls more
that
popular
moved
than
to
Artemis
Disney.
Fowl, bro.
It doesn't matter. That is a theatrical window that Disney was prepping. If they give Disney a pass, then they lose. That is complete hypocrisy.
That's like Chicken Run or some shit. I mean, it's not. Let me know.
It doesn't matter. It's a
Frozen
theatrical
2,
plan.
The Lion King, Mulan, go straight to VOD. Then we gonna have some problems.
But see, if that's how they're playing the game, then I don't agree with it. If they need to hold ground, they need to hold ground on all of them.
Yeah, I think they're just throwing away. They're throwing away the sick ones.
Dude,
Scooby-Doo,
Trolls.
whatever.
No one
Throw it
cares
out
about
there.
Trolls.
Throw it out there.
No one cared about Trolls. That's such BS.
That's
Trolls,
why they released it to VOD.
Trolls did better on streaming. That's what I'm getting at. Like Disney Artemis Fowl making a business decision to realize, you know what, this will play better on digital. Why are the theater chains? Why should they have any say in telling a studio right now who's losing money too? How dare you readjust your plan to make revenue when you're losing revenue? It's complete. It makes no sense to me. Look, I get why AMC's playing tough, but at the same time, Universal's losing money. They have every right to reevaluate their plan and say, you know what? We were going to put Trolls 2 out because that's how it worked. But right now, everything has shifted. This movie's not good enough. We're going to take the hit on this. They should. But my point is they need to negotiate. The theaters and the studios need to renegotiate because this 3-month exclusive window, why? Why can't it be a month?
They're slapping them. They're giving them a chin check. Like, yo, you do it with this Trolls. Don't do it with that Fast and the Furious and all them other motherfuckers.
But they weren't gonna. They weren't gonna do that. They were going to do it with lesser-known movies in the studio and the theaters.
But you don't know that, though. Look, it's best to nip stuff in the bud before it becomes a serious problem. Let's say your intentions are their intentions are right with Trolls, and they only wanted to do it with Trolls. Who's to say that Sony ain't? Let me do it with Let There Be Carnage, or let me.
Well, they're doing it with Scoob. Scoob is the next one. They made it clear, and now I think it's the new Judd Apatow comedy is next.
Doing it with Scoob.
Yep.
You see that, and who knows how far that will go out.
Look, I wanted to get a comment that came in. Thank you for the support, Mackenzie. Here's what killed theaters: idiots talking and looking at their phones during the movie. He's got a point. It's another problem of just like the theater-going experience annoys me.
He's joking. Is that a joke? He's not serious.
Dude, that happens to me every time here in Florida.
I know it does, but God dang it, we'll take it. That's part of it too. Loud people talking.
No.
That's part of the movie theater experience too. Getting mad, yeah. Freak that.
No,
like
I can't stand it.
I'll take it.
Especially for like a drama or something more serious. I can't stand it.
People who get mad at the world.
I can't stand it. When I pay money to go sit in that dark theater and I got to deal with some jerk who's not even watching the movie, who's shining the bright light in my face, dude, it takes me out of the experience. I can't, and I got to go tell somebody, or I got to tell them to shut up.
You from going to the movies, bruh. That's weak.
No, but I'm just saying for certain movies,
people they get mad at people who laugh too loud in comedies.
For certain movies, I don't care.
I had some lady try. I had a lady.
Would you have paid to see Extraction in movie theaters?
Can you believe a lady said, "Can you be quiet?" And we're watching an action movie. How the?
Were you talking?
Telling me that, can you? No, I'm like, dang.
Oh, well,
I'm reacting
fine,
to what's going on.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we're trying to watch it's a freaking action movie. Shut up. Freak those type of people.
Well, no, that's different.
Watching
that's
quiet
different.
Place and never got the phone and all that.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yeah, there's
but
a
even
time and a
won't
place.
keep me from watching the movie.
But let me challenge you here. Would you go see Extraction in a movie theater? Would you have paid for it, or would you have watched it on Netflix if both options were available to you?
I would see it on Netflix.
See?
Because I don't like Chris Hemsworth. Because you're not selling me.
But that's the point. Now, having the option is nice, isn't it, on certain movies?
Mission Impossible, I'm seeing that in the theater.
Sure, but that's the problem. As soon as when it becomes 1 or 2 movies a month that are worthy, the theater chains are going to get upset, right? And so, but that's the reality you just laid down. Of I would much rather have some of those experiences because of the phone experience and other. I'd much rather watch some of these movies at home. Sadly, that's what's happening. But big movies like Universal's movies, I want to see them in theaters. And so if AMC's really thinks they can afford to cut these studios out,
they can, Andy. They'll be fine. They're going to get bought by somebody. Maybe Bezos of Amazon will buy them out.
Or the studios will buy them. Yeah, the studios will buy them too. I think.
Buy them. Someone's going to buy them, make them better than ever. I think that's going to happen. I think that I think Bezos needs to go ahead and get that done. Bill Gates, somebody like that, because
Disney will do it.
Are not going down. They're filing bankruptcy, sure. Someone's going to buy them.
Disney will buy theaters that they can then start owning how they control the streaming rights to their own theaters.
Conflict of interest. I don't know how that law goes.
Oh, it's happening.
That's expiring, I heard.
It's happening. There's no doubt these studios will all start. Warner Brothers will absolutely buy some theater chains because they need to for well, crap. Then we got it straight. You can get because in order to get some of these filmmaking deals with some of these filmmakers like the Martin Scorsese's, They want to know that they're going to get a theatrical run. So great, we own it. Yeah, we own Lowe's now. Cool. We'll drop them in all the Lowe's. You'll have a month, and then we'll release it.
Netflix needs to buy these theaters. Netflix streamers.
I agree.
Netflix, Amazon.
I agree. And they do it for certain movies, Irishman and Marriage Story. They but I do think, I think this is where these negotiations are where the theaters do die if they don't do it right. So I do think Trolls, weirdly, could really affect how we have movie theaters moving forward. This could really be a moment, as stupid as it sounds, that could really make a difference long term. Because if they don't make this negotiation right, dude, you just made a point. You just made a very valuable point. Extraction, very expensive, really well done action movie. I thought it was actually pretty good. Surprised me. It would have been a good theater movie too, to be honest. But I didn't need to see it in the theaters. It's proving, sadly, that even film lovers like us,
not fair.
we are seeing high budget action films at home, and that to me is the sign of the times. Right? It is what it is. It's convenience, and so they're doing it, and that's what's going to happen. More and more options are coming to streaming. Why are we going to go spend more and more money in these theaters? Now we are going to for the tent poles, but how can that keep the theaters industry, in business? Unless they raise up the ticket prices or whatever. So the reality is, like, it's a tough spot. And I think the theaters need to reevaluate their 3-month exclusives, which, do people really care? When people want to go see Jurassic Park, you got a month. Give it to them for a month. Okay, theaters, you get a month exclusive, and then we get to do whatever the hell we want with it. You don't get to say anymore. That's where it's got to go, in my opinion, or they're gonna shoot themselves in the foot.
I think that the theaters could just bounce back with some marketing. I know you want to holler at Bunda. Shout out to my dude, Bunda.
Yeah, Bunda. Maybe what will entice more people to go to the theaters, lower the ticket prices and concessions. Yeah, I mean, but then if they do that, they're not making any money, Bunda, because they're making their money off those concessions.
It's a huge revenue generator.
It's literally what keeps them going because they don't make all the. And then I think I don't even know the finances, but I know a couple of guys who made. I know
I worked at the movie theater, and it was push concessions. Yeah. That's how we make our money.
And then a lot of them are opening bars.
Popcorn don't cost nothing.
Right, and then they're opening bars so they can serve liquor now. A lot of the AMC's and others, because they can upcharge that. That is the money making, because they know the theater. And so that way, if it's slow, at least people are coming in. Dude, it's like $100 to go to the movies with a family and buy. If you buy the food and everything,
family of 4. Yeah.
It's crazy. And so it is what it is. But people can't afford to do it as much anymore. And so you pay $15 a month for Netflix to get Trolls at home. It's gonna hurt the theater. So, and my point is, Universal's got the content. That's what people want to buy. That's my point. I see what you're saying. If they move together, but if Disney can start showing Artemis Fowl and Universal doesn't call BS on that, I mean, that's where the things break down. You gotta be firm on all studios, on all movies, or then you can prove that they're playing favorites.
AMC? If AMC doesn't call
AMC doesn't call BS on Disney for putting Artemis Fowl on Disney Plus instead of theaters, then they're hypocrites because they know Disney's more valuable, I guess. But that is complete hypocrisy. Disney Plus is putting out Artemis Fowl in theaters in June. AMC, are you going to react, or are you going to let them get away with it because you didn't care about that movie? Like, that's silly. That was a big budget movie with Josh Gad and a lot of people in it. That should be taken just as seriously as the other ones. But anyway, it looks like we're not going to change our minds on this, but at least we can agree. It sounds like we can agree.
It's all up for grabs for Corona, bro. I think the theaters will win. The theaters have the power to hold. I am behind AMC on this because y'all got the Corona, studios right now. When this Corona's over,
the Bud Light,
it is. Yeah, sorry, Bud Light. When it's over, hopefully it will be soon. The ball goes back into AMC, into the movie theater's court, and then they're going to be the ones suffering. And even though Fast and Furious is going to be a big, huge seller, without the theaters, it's going to lose tremendous amounts of money.
I totally disagree. I don't see how Universal can lose trucks of money when they have the content that people want to buy. When they have major studio releases like they have, how they'll figure out a way to make the money, or they just sell it to them direct, or they sell it to HBO Max.
Is a must-see.
There's no way.
Film.
Yeah, and that's my point. If AMC doesn't have it, AMC is losing money, not Universal. Universal will open theaters if they got to. They'll play it at Universal Studios. There are ways for Universal to play that movie and make its money.
AMC can take a blow of not showing Fast and Furious. They have other films that they could show extended. It's fine.
They can if they start. If they follow their own rules here and then can block out any film that's gone from theatrical plan to VOD, which is what they said, that's all the studios, man. That's the end of the game. Then they've just written themselves into a problem because Warner Brothers is doing it with Scoob. Disney just did it with Artemis Fowl. That's Universal, Warner, and Disney. Who's left? Who's bringing in the dollars?
It's just a way to get them to renegotiate. Maybe they could renegotiate and get a 60-40 cut for the theaters now because of the farcy that Universal just played here with Trolls and Warner Brothers is doing with
But
Scooby.
you think Universal's going to cave on that? Is what you're saying?
They're going to, when coronavirus is over, absolutely. Theaters are going to win.
I totally disagree. Totally disagree.
You need the theaters. If you drop that, how much does it cost? Maybe $300-400 million marketing and budget for Fast and the Furious, which means it's going to have to make $500-600 million without the theaters. Good luck.
No, look, you're right. I'm not trying to be ignorant to that. Of course, they make a lot of their money on obviously the global box office and then selling it to other places.
Yes.
But there's a lot of, dude, if they got really desperate, you don't think Netflix would pay a mint to have the Fast and the Furious movie exclusive? So factor that, an insane amount of money that suddenly they're going to get out of nowhere.
Sure.
Factor in some theater chains playing it. Factor in, obviously not, AMC is not all over the globe. There'll be other, they could still make money in other venues. There's no way that everyone's going to turn on Fast and the Furious is my point, because it's a huge moneymaker for everybody. And for the studios to be like, no.
At the beginning of the cycle, though. So many actors in Hollywood and directors in Hollywood would protest and join the theaters and make people who sit at home and watch these movies feel bad. And it's going to be a war. And I know that the theaters will win in the end.
Dude, the theaters are going bankrupt, Jody. They are going bankrupt.
Look what Scorsese did. He pretty much put a fire under Kevin Feige and the whole MCU with one comment.
Dude, it doesn't matter. Those theaters are going to go bankrupt, and then they'll be bought up by other places, and then the deal goes out the window because they'll want the Fast and Furious movies. My point is, AMC doesn't have the control you think because they don't have the revenue. And if they're not playing the movies like Fast and the Furious, they're not making revenue. How are they making revenue if they're in the red?
You can't get an Oscar without being in theaters, my friend.
Not this year. This year they just changed it. And good segue to our next topic.
The Oscars, what if they they're arrogant. They're traditional.
We'll get to that topic in a second.
To acknowledge VOD, they say that you got to be in theaters to even qualify for an Oscar. So guess what? You want to go straight to VOD? No Oscar potential for you.
No, you need one.
See how that sounds.
Hello, Netflix movies all are up for Oscars, Jody. So that rule is easily beaten. So I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, I know the one of them got foreign film. Irishman was
Marriage Story and Irishman got 10 nominations, dude. They were in one theater in LA.
It was released in theaters.
No, Netflix released them, and the AMC refused to play them.
No, they released it in theaters to qualify to be nominated for an Oscar.
Dude,
Irishman.
Yeah, because Netflix built theaters and put it into 3 theaters.
No, that's not why. Because you got to be in theaters in LA or Hollywood for 2 weeks or more to be qualified for the Oscars.
Exactly the point. They figured it out, didn't they? They didn't need AMC.
And they came. They said, okay, let me put it in theaters.
It was not in theaters in AMC, dude. No, it wasn't. AMC refused.
I'm not saying AMC. There's plenty of the theater chains.
What is your point? That's my point. When you're saying they need a theater, who's going to blacklist all movie theaters? The Tampa theater here is not going to blacklist movie theaters. They're independently owned. They'll figure it out. They can build. Netflix built a theater in New York to get around that system. There will always be around it to get the. So they don't need They need the theaters for a rule. They need the theater for a role, but they don't need the AMC. Is all I'm trying to get at. They don't, and AMC needs the movies. Is all I'm trying to say. AMC needs the revenue from those blockbusters to get people in the door to buy popcorn. If they're not getting these big movies, they are screwed.
You're not speaking from our perspective. We're the ones that matter. You're talking about the companies. We're talking about theaters. Who do the people?
The people are going to be like, people are going to show up to AMC theaters the weekend Fast and Furious opens and goes, where's the movie? They're not going to understand this drama you're talking about. They're going to leave pissed. They're going to be like, wait a second.
Sure.
You're not showing the Fast and the Furious movie? Well, who has it?
Sure.
Fine, I'll go there.
That's what they're going to do when they show up. I know these people because I worked at the theater. I sold tickets. You know what they do when they show up and the movie's not playing that they want? They go see something else in that same moment. They say, what else is playing? I'll take 2 to that. Game. I know what they do.
All right, fine. I'll cave on that one. You might be right because no one wants to throw out the same movie unless there's no movies playing.
What they do.
But all I'm saying is they need they need each other. They need each other more than AMC is like no. And if AMC is legitimately saying, look, we're ready to negotiate, then great. That's what they should be doing is what I'm trying to get at.
Yeah.
They both need to negotiate here. The deal needs to change.
Save the theater experience. We need to save the theaters. I understand Trolls for doing what they did, but, freak. These movie theaters are important.
Dude, I'm with you, but I'm just being a realist. I'm being a realist of this. You can't. The theaters can't play ball this hard.
So far that I refuse to see from your perspective. You are the dark side of the force right now. You're speaking in absolutes. I don't want to hear this shit. I don't even want to think about it, bro. I am so stone cold on this, bro. Save the theaters. I'm like Martin Scorsese with this. We need the theaters. I just refuse to believe anything otherwise. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm arrogant. I'm like
as we wrap up this
conservative.
argument, we will agree there because we need theaters. I'm getting frustrated because the theaters can't exist if the studios aren't making money. And the theaters aren't making money. That's the reality of it all. And people, we are not helping the theater going experience when we're supporting movies like Extraction, which, let's be honest, should be playing in theaters, right? So that's the problem. We're in a new technology wave and a new opportunity to see movies that it's changing the game. And if they don't pay attention and they don't step up and adjust some of these rules, I mean, I still argue, why didn't AMC show The Irishman? Who cares? Why wouldn't they have made some money off of that? Like it would have been in the theaters and they would have made money. So like
because they hate
because they
Netflix.
wanted a 3-month window. That was what they wouldn't cave. And Netflix was like, well, no. But I bet you if they were like, how about a 1-month window? That might have really helped make a difference. And then why couldn't both Netflix and AMC made some money and work together? Why can't they figure out how to be partners? That's what's really struggling. But I guess once you give that 1-month window up, then all studios will take it, and then everybody's releasing the movies, and then people will say, well, I'm not going to the theaters because I'll just wait a month to see it at home. Look, there must be a serious fear of that because obviously that's why they're not caving on it. But, it used to be even longer than 3 months, and now it's 3 months. Who's to say it can't happen in a month? Dude, I'm going to go still to the theaters even if it's a 1-month window.
$20 to rent Trolls for 48 hours? Miss me. I should own it for $20.
Yeah, it's true. Well, Scoob adjusted that. $25 to own it is a much smarter move. And even that's too high. I never buy a Blu-ray that high.
It
ever.
is. That's still high.
I wait till it's on
the movies for $10 now.
I wait till it's on sale.
We go to the movies 3 times. What is it? AMC Movie Pass, $25 a month. You get to see 3 movies a week?
Yeah. Well, now imagine that. You have AMC Movie Pass, and then you can't see Universal's movies. I'd be pissed. And then I'm like, well, wait, I just paid and you're not giving me movies that I can't see? It's going to affect them more than they think. So anyway, that's where we stand on this. It's a complicated conversation. There's going to be a lot more to this as it comes. But I want to agree with you on we absolutely have to be supporting our theaters. And there's a way to support that. It's a clever idea I saw. You guys can buy gift passes. You guys can buy like gift certificates and gift cards to your favorite restaurant or your favorite theater. So that way when people are back in commission, you're giving them money now. It's a clever way to give back to any sort of brick and mortar business or restaurant or theater, local theater that you go to. Go buy a gift card or certificate for somebody so they can use it in the next way.
Something else too.
And so it's a good way to support the theaters and the restaurants. All right, but we're going to move on to our second topic. For those of you watching on YouTube, though, this is where it's going to end. If you didn't catch on the live show, you can catch us every Tuesday at 9 p.m. I'm also live on Thursdays at 9 for Nerd Wars, and then I'm over at Jody's channel for Yin Yang. Go check out Jody's Corner. Subscribe to him as well to see us talking about more stuff. But for the people on YouTube watching this after the fact, we are going to snip it here. So thanks so much for watching. We got 2 more topics you'll want to check out either as a member or check out as it uploads here later on YouTube. Thanks for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.